Saturdays. The day everyone looks forward to, everybody's favorite day of the week. It is a day where anything is possible and anything is up for grabs. However, that was not the case on April the 26th, 1986 in northern Ukraine. On that Saturday, the world's worst nuclear accident ever
This
seen
nuclear
took place.
accident released more than 300 times the amount of radiation released by the atomic bombs dropped on Japan. The nuclear accident killed 2 of the workers in the explosion. More than 30 of the workers would succumb to the deadly effects of severe radiation exposure due to the massive amounts of radiation released into the air. Scientists are still not sure how the long-term effects of radiation exposure will have on the population that encountered the radiation. In 2005, the United Nations predicted a further 4,000 people might eventually die as a result of radiation exposure from Chernobyl. Nuclear energy comes from nucleus of an atom. Atoms contain enormous amounts of energy in their bonds that hold them together. With the help of nuclear fission, we can split apart these atoms and harness the energy released. This is done inside of a nuclear reactor, which heats water into steam, spins a turbine, and we use that to generate electricity. Nuclear energy is a zero-emission clean source of energy and is the future of sustainable energy. Most individuals think of the Chernobyl accident, the accident in Fukushima, or the atomic bombs dropped on Japan when it comes to radiation or nuclear power. However, that isn't the case when it comes to the United States. The U.S. nuclear industry has the highest priority of safety and continues to be recognized as one of the safest industrial working environments in the nation. On Saturday, April 26, 1986, the world changed, or at least it did for northern Ukraine. The unthinkable happened. It was supposed to be another regular day at the Chernobyl nuclear power station. The operators were supposed to be conducting a routine safety test. This test was deemed so routine that the Chernobyl power plant director didn't even show up for the duration of the test. For the operators conducted this test, the power to the reactor number 4 needed to be reduced. The purpose of this test was to be able to see if and during a power outage the plant's turbine would still be able to produce enough electricity to keep the coolant pumps going to give them backup generators a chance to cut on. At the time the safety test was taking place, the nuclear power station night shift was coming in to take over for the first shift. The second shift never received proper instruction on how to perform the test. However, they did continue with the test. During the test, the power drops far below the level at which the reactor is considered stable. This causes the operators to remove some of the control rods, which is a huge violation of power station safety guidelines. The control rods, plate, or tube containing materials such as hafnium or boron used to control the power of the nuclear reactor. The power station supervisors order the test to proceed. Once the test begins, an unexpected power surge hits the power station. The operators immediately hit the shutdown button. This causes the control rods to jam as they enter the reactor's core. Approximately 20 seconds later, the number 4 reactor explodes, causing 1,000-ton concrete roof to blow completely off the reactor. With the reactor now blown completely off, massive amounts of radiation are being poured into the atmosphere. First responders arrive at the power station of no knowledge that radiation is being poured into the air and are wearing no protective clothing. Never before has this happened, and it never thought possible. Soviet officials is quoted saying that the odds of a nuclear meltdown are 1 in 10,000 years. Officials and employees talk and discuss what immediate action needed to be taken. They block off the closest town from anyone entering or leaving. Reactors number 3, 2, and 1 are shut down and all the fires have been put out. The blaze in the reactor's number 4 core is still burning and will continue to do so for days after. Helicopters are brought in to try to dump loads of sand, clay, boron, lead, and dolomite into the core and try and extinguish the core's blaze and slow the radiation from emitting from such a high volume. The Soviet Union kept news of the explosion from the people for 2 days and did not evacuate them during that time either. The Soviet Union tried to keep news of the explosion from getting overseas, but due to the massive amounts of radiation, a Swedish air monitor picks up on the large amounts of radiation. Soviet officials admit that there has been an accident, but they falsely state that the situation is under control. About 600,000 emergency workers eventually went into the area, trying to seal the reactor and make sure the area is safe again. About 31 soldiers camped near the reactor, where radioactivity reached about 1,000 times the normal levels within a week and contaminated the drinking water. The Soviet Union pumps liquid nitrogen underneath the reactor to cool it. Officials tear down any contaminated towns, kill any contaminated pets or livestock, and they remove massive amounts of contaminated topsoil. Concrete is then poured under the reactor and encased in a giant concrete and metal structure. Chernobyl's last reactor, number 3, was shut down in 2000.